All right. So we are here today. It's Friday. It's on Friday. If you are watching this and it's not Friday, the topic that we're going over today is how to how to complete a listing contract. So we'll get right into it. We do have two exit experts on the call with us. As you can see, their names, Miss Frederica and Miss Ursula. So we'll get right into it for you guys. I won't hold you any longer. All right, so I am sharing my screen and I'm going to take you to the entire process. So we go to dotloop. Most of you guys should know how to sign into dotloop. That's with your email addresses and then that password that you made. Once you get into dotloop, we're going to go over here to add loop. Let's just say that it is 123 Main Street. That's the listing. If you have a listing, I do not recommend putting your client's name. If you actually have the listing, even if you're going on a listing appointment, if you're almost 90% sure that you're going to get that listing, instead of putting your client's name right here, go ahead and put the property address. All right, so we have that. Then I'm gonna hit continue. Once I hit continue, do not hit continue again. When you go to the next screen, you're gonna see loop template. Click on that, and then you're gonna go down to Tennessee listing, okay? And click on Tennessee listing. Once you get to Tennessee listing, if you want to, I know some of you guys have a C personality or an I personality. If you are wanting to see the picture of the home, if it doesn't populate, you can save it to your computer and upload it right here. But if you're not really concerned about actually seeing the picture, then you can just click done. But what I will say, if you have a lot of listings, sometimes it's hard to remember the files by the addresses. It's easier to see the picture of the house and then click on that file. So it's always good if you're a person that can't really remember a lot or you're juggling a lot, to go ahead and upload that picture so that when you're going to your dotloop and you got a lot of listings, you can immediately go to the one that you need by just looking at the picture. So I'm gonna hit done. Then the loop is gonna create. All right. So now we have that. Once that loop is created, you're going to click view loop. All right. And so this particular session is not to go through the process. We will have trainings for that. But this particular session is to complete a listing agreement. But as you can see, I do want to make a reference here. You see pre-listing documents. Pre means before. So before you actually put that house on the market, everything that you see in front of you are the things that you actually need to list a property. We built this out for you. If you are a Tennessee realtor, dotloop has removed the Tennessee folder. The reason why they did that is because by law, they no longer have access to Tennessee documents. So what we did, we manually built it in our back office so that the contracts are still here because we're licensed to hold Tennessee contracts. dotloop is no longer licensed to hold the Tennessee contracts. However, dotloop is still very convenient, not only for you as an agent, but also for your clients. So everything that you need, you do not have to click add document. You do not have to click anything. Everything is right in front of you. So what I want you to do is scroll down until you see listing contract. Now, right here, you see that RF101 is exclusive right to sell. RF131 is lot land exclusive right to sell. And both of them say optional. The reason why both of them say optional, because it depends on what you're selling. If you're selling a house, then of course it's going to be the one here at the top that says exclusive right to sell listing agreement. If it is land, then it's gonna be land. Okay, so we have different contracts for when we're listing houses and when we're listing land. And for this call, we're gonna focus on houses, okay? But everything that we go over to list a house and complete that particular contract, it is still applicable to the lot and land contract. So you're gonna still do the same things. So we're gonna click on exclusive right to sell. And just FYI, I recommend go ahead and put in your client's information. All right. So my seller name is Ursula Houston. All right. It already says seller. I'm gonna go ahead and put her email address in. Bam. I'm gonna also go ahead and put her phone number in. All right. If you would like to send your client, if your client has never used Dotloop, click right here and send your client an intro email. That will introduce them to Dotloop and it lets them know what you're sending them and how convenient it's going to be for them versus you're trying to explain what Dotloop is. Dotloop will actually do it for you. So go ahead and do that. Uh-oh. I'm trying to click the little link. Let me see if I just hit enter. All right, so we got Ursula there. And let's just say the listing agent, I'm the listing agent and my name is Frederica Strong. I'm gonna go ahead and put my information. All right, and you can put all of your information. I'm gonna go ahead and put my license number so that it'll automatically populate. Bam, I got that. I'm gonna go ahead and fill in the blanks. I'm gonna go ahead and put the address, as we know, 123 Main Street, Memphis. You can put the zip code, you can put everything else. Actually, I put Main Street in the wrong section, so make sure you read and don't be like Dr. A and just type. All right, I can't even remember, let me see. Can't remember Memphis zip code, y'all. Anybody want to let me know? Ursula, you want to unmute yourself and let me know what's the zip code for Memphis?
3811, yeah, 38103. Downtown.
All right. All right. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put the county in. If you already know that the commission is probably gonna be 6%, you can go ahead and put that in. Put in as much information as you possibly can. If you already know that the expiration date for this offer is gonna be at the end of the year, you already know what you're gonna put on it. Go ahead and add that. If you know the legal description, remember you get the legal description, and I'll go over this again when we actually get to the contract, but you can get the legal description from the tax record. If you're having trouble going to the tax assessor's website and finding the actual tax record, call the tax assessor. As an agent, they will give you that information. Just say, hey, you know, my name is Miss Houston. I'm a realtor and I'm about to list a property and I'm needing the tax record for 123 Main Street, Memphis, Tennessee. They will either tell you the legal description information over the phone or they'll email it to you if you provide your email address, should you not be able to locate the tax assessor's website online. But once you get that information, make sure you go ahead and put that information in. You know, it's always some weird. You're gonna get the deed page, the deed book, all that information will be on the tax card. The reason why we want to do this is because the more that we can put on that screen, we don't want to be lazy and bypass it. The more you can put on that particular screen, all of your contracts, the information is going to auto-populate on all of them so that you can move faster. So the broker, the listing company will be Exit Southern Charm Realty. Address of the company. All right. We have our client here. Go ahead and put the address of our client. Let's just say it's the home that she lives in. So we'll just go ahead and put that. And then all of the information has already populated for us there. So we don't have to do that again. All right. And so I'm just going to read through each one of these. And that's something that's very, very important. As realtors, we have to make sure that we read everything. A lot of times, because we're so seasoned, we just go through, you know, the hoops, the loops, the routine without fully understanding what we're executing and forwarding over to our clients. So make sure as much as you can, even if it's once a quarter or twice a year, refresh yourself, read the contract. Sometimes the commissions update the verbiage, but it's always important for you to know those contracts like the back of your hand. And so if you've never taken the time to read it, I'm gonna read it for you. All right. So after we put all of the property address and the legal description and all that information in, it goes on to say pertaining to each section on line 16, section A, included as part of the property, if present, all attached light fixtures and bulbs, including ceiling fans, permanently attached plate glass mirrors, heating, cooling, plumbing fixtures and equipment, all doors, storm doors and windows, all window treatments, shutter, blinds, shades, curtains, draperies, and hardware, all wall-to-wall carpet, range, all built-in kitchen appliances, all bathroom fixtures and bathroom mirrors, all gas logs, fireplace doors and attached screens, all security system components and controls, garage door opening, and all, at least, and you can put however many. If your client got 2 garage doors, go ahead and put a 2 right there. Remote controls, swimming pool and its equipment, awnings, permanently installed outdoor cooking grills, all landscaping and all outdoor lighting, mailboxes, attached basketball goals, backboards, TV mounting brackets, antennas, satellite dishes, central vacuum systems, attachments, available key fobs, access codes, master codes necessary for access to the property, including mailboxes and or amenities. All right, so we're letting you know basically everything. And the reason why, I'm sure y'all was like, oh man, this is kind of redundant, Dr. A. Well, you'd be surprised if you're working on a deal. You can't automatically assume that the curtains or the blinds are going to be there, because possibly they may not be. And then section B goes on to say other items that remain with the property at no additional cost to the buyer. So if it was something that you saw, maybe it was an entertainment center that looked like it was like it's attached, but it could be, you know, detached. Maybe we don't really want to leave that to question. Maybe it's a refrigerator. You know, refrigerators, that's personal property, but maybe, you know, it's part of what that buyer is thinking is going to be with the property. So you will put all of those things right there. If there's anything that your seller is not going to leave behind when that property gets sold, you will list it in section C. And then in section D is for lease items. Sometimes sellers lease items that are in their home. And if they have to return those things, you want to list those things. For example, if it's a security system, a water softener system, or anything like that. If leases are not assumable, it will be the seller's responsibility to pay balance. okay? And again, lease items, and I just wanna correct myself, those are the lease items that are gonna actually remain. So I said that they were not, but they actually be the things that will remain. And then just keep in mind, make sure that your client knows if they got a contract with ADT and ADT does not want to allow that system to transfer and they're required to pay, then make sure your client understands their responsibility to pay that balance. And then on line 36, that's where you're gonna put your list price and then the terms. This agreement shall be valid from the date this agreement is fully executed by all parties through, as you can see, December 31st was what we put initially, and it's already there. Then we're gonna go down to line 41. In line 41, marketing of the property commencement date. Seller directs broker to commence marketing of the property for sale to the general public on the effective date or whatever date your client indicates for commencement, okay? So this is to give you permission to market the property so that there's no blurred lines. You know the start of when you can market that property and when you no longer can market that property. And then it goes on to talk about carryover clauses. Should the seller contract to sell or exchange or contract to lease the property within 30 days after the listing expiration of this agreement to any buyer, tenant, or anyone acting on behalf who has been introduced to the property directly or indirectly during the term hereof as extended to the seller agrees to pay compensation as set forth. So I always recommend 90 days, that's fair. 90 days to 6 months. But most of the time, you know, at minimum 90 days, because sometimes you can market that property and then maybe they knew someone that saw your marketing efforts. Well, if you put 7 days of 30 days, they're just gonna wait 30 days and then go put the house back on the market. And they might sell that house to somebody that actually saw that house because of you. So this is to protect you as the listing agent as well. So make sure you put at least 3 to 6 months right here, okay? 3 to 6 months. All right. So yeah, 3 to 6 months right there. Do not put 30 days, do not put 7 days. The carryover clause is talking about the extra time. That's that protection clause, that extra buffer once that contract ends or if that client decides to take their home off the market. Possession of the property to be delivered. That's the date that you'll put that on there, whatever date that they specify. Terms of sale acceptable to seller. That's the terms acceptable, you know, this house can go FHA, VA, conventional, etc. Now, if it's an investment property, then you might want to get with the broker to see what type of loan this property can actually go for, and then you want to specify that right there. We already indicated the commission, which was going to be 6%. So what we'll do, because it actually went to the dollar side, delete that and make sure you go to the percentage side. All right, you want to put that 6% on that side. Be careful not to put it in that dollar amount side because you will be paid $6 and we don't need that. On line 62, in the event that the property is leased under the terms of this agreement, seller agrees to pay a total of blank or blank percentage compensation based on the monthly rental, which shall be paid by the seller to the broker. All right, so this may vary depending on what the cost of the house, the cost of the rent. So get with the broker so that you can put whatever specified amount that needs to be here. If you want to go ahead and do 100%, maybe like, hey, if you rent the house out, I was still gonna sell it. I want my whole commission. Then you might put, you know, whatever that designated amount is. Or if you say, okay, you know, if they rent the house out, I think, you know, $3,000 a flat fee, $3,000 would be fair. $5,000 then you can of course put it where the dollar mark is. And then it just goes on to say that it will be paid by the seller to the broker in readily available funds within 5 days of rent being due under the terms of said lease. Said compensation shall be paid by the seller to the broker and shall continue for the duration of the lease agreement, with compensation being paid to the broker within 5 business days of rent being due. In the event that the property is sold during the term of any lease agreement reached under this agreement or any carryover period described, seller agrees to pay broker at the time of closing any remaining compensation. So this is also applicable, you know, again, not only just if you're listing this property, but should they decide to rent this property out, you're letting them know, hey, you're not off the hook. You still gotta pay me even if we're renting this property, you know, or vice versa. Maybe they came to you to list this, you know, property, you know, to be rented. But either way it goes in the contract, it covers all areas, eliminating any gray area. It also goes on to talk about in the event on line 78, in the event that a ready, willing, and able buyer or tenant, because remember, it don't matter if it's a tenant, if it's a buyer, is produced and a contract results, the seller is obligated to compensate the broker. So regardless if you are listing a rental, listing a house for sale, or the house for sale, they decide to rent it out. Either way you go, if you bring a ready, willing, and able buyer, you are the procuring cause, regardless if they change their mind, decide to do something different, they still owe monies. And that's what this is talking about. And when they sign this, they are acknowledging that they understand all of these terms. Lines 89 through 99. Just make sure that you read through the responsibilities and the rights of the parties. I'm gonna move down to line 96, where it says broker shall provide timely notice to MLS of status change, shall use best efforts to produce a buyer, and may divide compensation with other real estate licensees for corporation in connection with the sale or lease of the property. Broker shall offer a cooperative compensation to any agent who is a member, participant of any MLSs in which property is listed in the amount of blank percent. So when we're giving the other side 3%, we'll put it right here. And then of course you'll put that on the MLS that you are giving a cooperative agency or broker or their agent, you know, 3%. Or if it is a monthly rental amount, you will put that information right there as well. And then it goes down to further explain. So if you go to line 100, buyer, whoever's working with the buyer tenant who is the procuring cause of the transaction, broker may offer a cooperative compensation to an agent who is not a member of the participant of the MLS in which the property is listed. In the event the broker elects to offer a cooperating compensation to an agent who's not a member, then on line 104, it explains the amount of money that you're going to give somebody that is not a member of the board. So it's right there, eliminating any gray area. And then I just recommend on your own time, make sure you read through this line by line for yourself, and then make notes if you have questions. So there is a lot of terms that you need to read and understand. It's not just your client's responsibility, it's your responsibility to make sure that you read these contracts that you are filling out each and every day. And if it's a lot, just take it one page by day. Maybe on today, you read one of the pages and then tomorrow you read the other. So it just goes on to talk about all of the terms, seller's authorization, and appointment of designated agent. Seller hereby authorizes managing broker to appoint the listing licensee as designated agent for the seller, which is Ms. Strong. So as you can see, there's the listing agent. The seller was Ms. Houston. So you see that right here, the seller is given authorization from that broker to give permission to that listing licensee Mrs. Strong, to sell that property. And so that's what they're talking about right there. You'll just make sure, your name is right there on 264. And then make sure you read, as I stated, read earnest money, read title, all of that. If there is a home protection plan, this is where you will enter in that information. Seller agrees to provide a limited home protection plan. I'm sorry. Seller agrees to provide a limited home protection plan at a cost of, if it's gonna be $580 to be funded at closing. If your client is going to do a home protection plan, that's a home warranty, then you'll put that information right there, and then on line 290, you will include the actual company, the company's name. All right, if your client does not want to do a home warranty, then you will put on line 292, you would check home protection waived. And make sure you read the rest of it. On line 319, confidentiality, information which seller authorizes broker and his affiliated licensees to disclose, which otherwise may be confidential. So as we know, our fiduciary duties to our clients is confidentiality. But if there's something specific that seller wants them to know that's confidential, if they say, oh yeah, Miss Strong, Miss Houston says to you, yeah, go ahead and tell them about, X, Y, and Z. Then just because they verbally tell you that, we have to have everything in writing. You're gonna put X, Y, and Z on lines 321 through 323. All right. So if you know that your clients are telling you something confidential, even if they telling you and they verbally say it, you say, okay, thank you for that information. I gotta put it on the listing contract. So I'm gonna put that on the listing contract that you're giving me permission to disclose what you just stated to me verbally. Line 324, exhibits and addenda. All exhibits and addenda attached here to, listed below, or referenced herein are made a part of this agreement. So if there's anything extra that the seller is providing, maybe it's a survey map, maybe they're not really sure about something, so they added an extra document, whatever it is, put it right there in that section so that when you are processing all the information, that we know based on lines 326 through 329 that your client gave you extra information to attach to this listing contract. All right, and then if there's any special stipulations, the following special stipulations, if conflicting with any preceding section, shall control. So if there's certain stuff, I don't want to show my house before 5, whatever it is. In another section, it may say that we got permission to show their house. Well, this special stipulation may be certain requests, and you'll put all those requests from your sellers right here. They might say, I don't want a listing box. I just want you to, show the house. I don't want keys on my property. You might have somebody like that. You put those, any special stipulations will go in this particular area. And then you will sign. The owner will sign and date. And make sure you put your owners, make sure their phone numbers are included. Because if there's any emergencies, we can pull it in the office to intervene and assist. And then that is the completion of a Tennessee listing agreement. So before I get into Mississippi, I'm going to take a little 5-minute break. Just to get you guys, there was a lot of information that we just discussed. But before I do the 5-minute break, does anybody have any questions? Awesome. Well, the time is 12:44. At 12:49, I'm going to come back. And so this is the time for you to take a small break. And if you do not want to take a break, just continue to watch the video and you will get our Mississippi contract section. So I will take a little break at this time. All right, so we're gonna get right into it. We got about 2 more minutes, but by the time I pull up the screen for Mississippi, we should be at that 5-minute mark. So go ahead and make your ways back. If you are taking a break, taking a restroom break, I'm transitioning to Mississippi. So if you are a Tennessee agent, you are free to go if you're watching this video. If you are a Tennessee agent that's wanting to know a little bit about Mississippi because you're thinking about maybe possibly getting your Mississippi license, you are welcome to stay and hear more. But this is the time that we're going to transition to our Mississippi contracts. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save this information. And if you want to share it to your client, you can. But let me go ahead and show you how you're able to do that, because this is important. So I'm going to say yes. So since Ms. Strong is the agent and Ms. Houston is the seller, her signature is right there. You can go ahead and share it. Once she signs it, you can attach PDF so that she automatically has a copy. I don't recommend sending the attached PDF straight to her right now, because if they are new to dotloop, when they see that attachment, they're going to click on the attachment thinking that they can sign. So it's always confusing. I always send it straight to them where they can sign without the attachment. So then I'm going to go ahead and send it to Miss Houston, and bam, it's with Miss Houston. All right. And then when she gets done signing, only thing you have to do is go back here again, share it, and go to reshare, okay? Because you've sent it already. So you're going to go to reshare, and you will then click the client, which is the seller, Miss Houston. And then you're going to click PDF. And now instead of having can sign, go ahead and put view only, okay? I got this alert right here because she has not signed. But if she was to sign, if you click this button right here, the drop down menu is going to say view only. You're going to click view only, and then you'll be able to reshare. And bam, it's reshared. Just that simple, okay? So make sure anytime you're filling out these contracts, listing contracts, as soon as your client signs, they should have a copy of everything that you send them and everything that they sign. All right, now we're going to go to Mississippi bond. So for all of you Mississippi agents, hello. I'm not sure if you watched the Tennessee section, but if you watch the Tennessee section and you are thinking about becoming a Tennessee agent as a dual agent, awesome. And if not, maybe you have forwarded the video, excuse me. So now we're going to get started with Mississippi. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is click add loop. If you did not see me, just reverse the video real quick and you'll see where I press the button to the right, the blue button that said add loop. Now we're going to put 1, 2, 3. I'm going to click in here, 1, 2, 3 Main Street. Southaven, Mississippi. Hit continue. Then I'm going to go to loop template. And I'm going to go down till I get to Mississippi listing transaction, okay? Because I'm about to do a listing. If you have a picture of your listing, go ahead and put your picture of your listing right here. If you don't, it's totally fine. You can just click done. Again, as I stated on the Tennessee side, I recommend putting a picture right here, because as you get busy in your business, it is very easy to forget, okay, which house? Is it 123 Main for Memphis, or is it 123 Main for Southaven? Now, if you got a picture, you can just quickly reference that picture, click on that file, bam, you're in the correct file that you need to be in, versus having all these different addresses in your brain. All right, so now our loop is creating. All right. So as you can see, for our listings, you're gonna disregard under contract. This particular folder is when your listing goes under contract. So you won't need this right now. What we're focusing on right now is how to complete a Mississippi listing contract. So you're gonna go down until you see listing transaction, all right? And so because we're focused on listing contracts only, I'm not going to discuss all of everything that you see in bold. But what I want you to understand is everything that you see in orange is required. Why is it required? Because per licensing law and contract law, these are the things that you have to have that are mandated by the real estate commission. So we make sure that those things are required. Also, there are a couple of additional things that we require in the office to help protect you. Because believe it or not, people will sometimes sell properties that don't belong to them. Okay. Maybe mama said that she was going to give it to Lucy, but Lucy on paper does not own the property. So we always verify with tax records, hence why you have to do that, as well as an MLS sheet for verification purposes in-house so that we know that we have the right information. And then also to help you so that you can forward that information. But as I stated, let's stay focused on the listing contracts specifically, but I just wanted to have that small segue in case some of you guys were looking at the screen wondering what everything else was. But make sure you come to Tuesday training so that you can understand the rest of the processes or schedule a one-on-one with me so that we can go through these things. But let's go to the listing contract. And just like other states, Mississippi has a contract for land. They have a contract for houses, and they also have a contract for rentals as well as for commercial properties. So with Mississippi, their listing contracts is just solely for real estate as far as selling a house. They don't have the information for rentals on their listing contract. So let's go to Mississippi listing contract. So I'm gonna scroll down until I find the listing contract. So here it is, exclusive right to sell listing. Okay, I'm gonna click on that. But first, before I click on that, I just want to reference you because I just told you guys, and I'm sorry for saying but I just stated to you guys that we have many different listing agreements for Mississippi. And so not to confuse you, if you are not listing a house, you're going to go to add document for Mississippi only. You will go to add document and you will go to template and you will go to Mississippi. For my Tennessee agents that are still watching Mississippi, again, we used to have a Tennessee folder over here, but dotloop took it away, as I stated at the beginning, because they do not have licenses to hold a Tennessee folder. So we have, put that in there on the other side for Tennessee. But again, for you guys that are Mississippi, just go to your Mississippi folder. And when you go to your Mississippi folder, you're gonna click on Mississippi folder, you're gonna go to search, and you're gonna just type in simple listing. When you type in listing, you're gonna scroll down with this little sidebar, and it's gonna give you all the different types of listing contracts. So if you hover over it, as I stated, that is a lease listing agreement. If you hover over this one, it says commercial in parentheses. If you hover over this one, it says commercial unimproved property. Commercial unimproved property, that means commercial land. Okay, it's not a commercial building, it's commercial land. So anytime you see the word unimproved, that means land. All right, and then we're gonna keep scrolling down. Then you have a listing agreement for lots in land. That's residential. Those things that are not zoned as commercial. All right, and if you click on it and you click copy, it will automatically port over into the folder. But for this particular call, or Zoom rather, we are not going to go to those other types of contracts. We are actually going to go to the most common, which is a residential listing agreement, because most of you guys will have residential, meaning you will be selling houses. So just like we did before, you're gonna go ahead and put in all of your information. All right, so your seller, Miss Houston, is gonna be your seller. If you need to send Miss Houston an intro email, maybe she's never dealt with Dotloop before, go ahead and click that button and send her an intro email as well. You're gonna put as much information as you know about Miss Houston here, but more important, we need at minimum phone number, email address, and their full name, okay? So go ahead and put the phone number, add person, and then you're gonna make sure that you add yourself if you're not in already. All right, and what I just did, because Ms. Strong is already in the system, if you're not in your system, if you just add your name, add your phone number, your email, you will then be here in the system. If you know the loan officer's information, which you won't have because your client is on the selling side, but if you want to add a loan information just in case you may do a dual and you're doing both sides, you can put that information, but if not, it's not required, so you can bypass that. However, go ahead and put your listing broker, because in Mississippi, the listing broker has to sign the listing agreement. In Tennessee, the broker does not, but in Mississippi, the listing broker has to sign. So go ahead and put your listing broker. And then go ahead and add the information, 123 Main Street. Again, there's Dr. A messing up. Make sure you just put the property number and street number, the street name for street name, the city, the zip code, the county. If you have the parcel ID number, go ahead and put the parcel ID number. If you don't, open up a new window, go to the tax assessor site. And when you get to the tax assessor site, you're going to search for real estate properties taxes. Or you're going to search for real property taxes. You should see one of those tabs or names on the screen. If you're having trouble, just call the office and we will direct you to the appropriate tax assessor site. And if you are still having trouble, you can pick up the phone if it's during business hours and you can call the tax assessor site. The tax assessor's office, and they will give you the parcel ID number or whatever you need, or you can also request for that tax record, because you will need the tax record to put in the file. So go ahead and put that number there. The expiration date, if you already know the expiration date, maybe it's at the end of the year, maybe it's 6 months from now, go ahead and put that. You know that you're gonna list this house. Even if you're saying, okay, Dr. A, I'm not sure if I'm gonna list it, I'm just going to the listing appointment. Always go to your listing appointments like you have the listing. So if that listing appointment is tomorrow, go ahead and put tomorrow's date. If you've already done the comps and you already know what you're going to recommend because you've used the listing presentation that Exit gives you, and you've also used the seller guide that Exit gives you, so once your clients look at all the information, they're confident in your suggestion. Go ahead and put your suggestion here. If you need to change your suggestion later, then you can always do that. That way, everything will auto-populate. And then, of course, on the tax record card, you will be able to see the legal description. So that we put the legal description, bam, everything is there. Again, this part is so important. At the beginning, you don't want to be lazy with yourself. make sure you complete everything, because if you complete everything, it's gonna save you time at the end. Because every time you have to do the rest of these documents, everything is gonna automatically populate for you. So on line 1, are you currently a party to a referral agreement? If you're not a party to a relocation firm, then you're gonna put no, all right? However, let's say another real estate office referred business to you. Maybe it wasn't relocation, but if another office referred the business, go ahead and put yes. If they didn't, you're gonna put no. All right. The owner hereby employs, right here, you will always put the broker, okay? But what I always recommend everybody to do, put Exit Southern Charm Realty, and then put the broker. All right. Because as you can see on line 3, what does it say? The broker, all right? So in the state of Mississippi, the broker has to sign off on this and everything. So add both of those things, as Southern Charm Realty, as well as the broker. We've already put all of our information in for legal description and everything, so we can bypass that. For line 14, we don't have any other following terms. However, let me back up. We have one administration fee. So as you guys know, we no longer have any type of admin fees to our agents. The agents don't have any fees here locally outside of your corporate transaction fee and your regional fee. All right. But we do have an admin fee to every single client. All right. So make sure you add the $2.99. All right. So for Tennessee, a special stipulation, we will put under special stipulation, if you're still on for Tennessee, that $2.99 in that section. But of course, make sure that you understand, for all you Mississippi realtors, to put $2.99 right here for the admin fee, and that is charged to the seller. So you'll just put administrative fee. All right, and then make sure you put a $sign. All right, and then you will click commission 6%, because that's our standard. We're not going to do a flat commission. The only time that you'll put a flat commission is if it's under $50,000. If you list a property that's under $50,000, charge 10%. So if it's $30,000, charge $3,000. If it's $25,000, charge $2,500. All right. Or if you're not sure, call the office. But at minimum, you must charge 10%. You cannot charge anything less if it's under $50,000. And that is for you, because you don't want to waste your time. You want to make sure you got commas in your check when you get paid. You guys work hard. You're coming here to train. You deserve to be paid with your work. All right. If property is sold, transferred, leased, on line 19, owner agrees to pay the broker a commission of. It could be the whole 6%, but at minimum, it needs to be at least half. So if we have a $400,000 listing, at 6%, let me do the math on that. That's $12,000. So half of that is $6,000. So you can put $6,000 minimum right here. Should they decide to change their mind, sell it to somebody else, lease it out, you'll put that information right there. Owner agrees to pay the compensation provided if property is sold, conveyed, otherwise transferred within. I always, again, put 3 to 6 months right here. So I put 180 days, because you cannot put 3 or 6 right here, because for Mississippi, they are computing in days instead of months. Okay, so you gotta actually put the days. All right, so there's 180 days right there. Or if you want to do 3 months, right here you will put 90 days. And then on line 34, you're going to click that checkbox. Broker is a participant of. whatever board we're doing. Right now in Mississippi, we are members of the Northwest Mississippi Board, and we are current members of Grenada Board. So if it's a North Mississippi, which is our primary location, then you're gonna put Newmar, NWMAR. And if it's Grenada that we're listening, then you'll put Grenada. All right, so on and so forth. As we continue to expand, whatever area in Mississippi, you will put that particular board right there. As long as we are members of that board. All right, and then on line 41, that part is talking about how much money you are going to pay the cooperating brokerage that is working with you. So if you're not working a dual agency and you're working both sides, if another client comes represented by another agent that's not with our office, then you're going to put the percentage that you're going to give them, and on average it's 3%. We also give 3% to out of network or out of our MLS agents too. We give 3% to outside agents because that kind of makes them want to continue to work with us and do business with us, which ultimately helps you. Line 42 is if your client does not want to put their home on the market. Sometimes with certain situations, we may have exclusive listings. Exclusive listings means that only our office will sell that house, meaning that you do not have to work with another agent. If that agent comes, their client has to pay them a commission. And if that is the situation and you're not putting that listing on the market, then you can click line 42. But the only time you can click line 42 is if your client is requesting that you don't put that particular property on the market. Now, if you are doing exclusive agency, which is different than an exclusive right to sell, exclusive agency means, again, it's only us that are going to be selling and finding buyers. We have a different contract for that, okay? But the most common one that you're going to use is the one that's right in front of you, exclusive authorization and right to sell listing agreement. So we're not going to check this because we want the house to be on the market, all right? And on line 45, you will always click listing. The reason why you're gonna always click listing, because if you're listing a property, there may not be, that buyer may not be represented by an office. So we wanna make sure that we protect that earnest money. So always put listing agreement. Line 52 through 56 are different authorizations that the sellers will give you as the listing agent. And one of those things is advertising their property. Can you put a lockbox? Do they want a home warranty? Are you gonna accept earnest money? And are you gonna get their mortgage information? I recommend hitting yes on behalf of your client for all those things. They're gonna go back and sign off and review everything, but I recommend clicking yes on all of those, for the exception of line 54, provide home warranty upon sale of the property. You need to ask your client specifically, do you want to offer a home warranty or not? Sometimes they do because they want their property under warranty while it's on the market, and sometimes they don't want to pay it, so they do not have to. You will put no, but the rest of them you want to put yes, including mortgage information, so that you can get the payoff. Put their mortgage company, their account number, all of that information needs to go on line 57, because it's going to be easier for you when it's time for you to make a phone call or work with that title company to get the payoff, so that you can close that loan. Or not close the loan, but close that deal. Line 78 is talking about improvements on the property. Shutter, blinds, built-in appliances, garage remotes. There's no gray area, all right? So improvements. What are the things that are gonna stay? What are the things that are gonna go, okay? Owner shall provide to the buyer and selling broker at closing at least one exterior door key to the main dwelling. These are all of the things that are not left for you to assume. It's right in black and white. Make sure you read through those things. Make sure you have your clients read through those things. And then on line 78, it just indicates anything that is leased. equipment, okay? Because leased equipment may not be there when they get there, so they need to indicate those things if there's anything that is leased. And if there's a security system, where there is a contract that must be fulfilled, then you need to mark yes, so that that new homeowner know what their obligations are. So you would click yes. Lead-based paint, those are for listings before 1978. And then 83, that is about homestead exemption. Is this property homestead or not? How are you able to figure that out? Two ways. One, the easiest way is to just call the tax assessor's office and ask, is this property homestead exempt? Or two, you can look at the tax record yourself and it's gonna say homestead exempt, or it's gonna say homestead discount. And if it says that on the tax record, that will let you know. You can also ask your client, but I recommend calling the tax assessor's office or looking at that tax record to verify. It is an investment property, 9 times out of 10, it's probably not homestead, but you still want to verify because sometimes people will rent out their properties and still have it listed as their primary property. Make sure you read through owner's acknowledgements. This is everything that they are agreeing to. And then the broker acknowledgement is everything that we are agreeing to, including our fiduciary duty that is owed to our clients. All right. If we get multiple offer situation, in the event that there's more than one offer, the owner has accepted an offer, any other written offer received by broker, whether from prospective purchaser or another licensee, shall be presented to the owner unless broker has specific written instructions from the owner to postpone. So even if you're under contract, we still gotta send every single offer to our clients anyway, even if they're under contract. Does that mean that they gotta entertain it? No, because they're under an agreement. But just because your client is under contract, in this particular section, it's telling you that if there's more than one offer, you gotta still present every single offer and inform your client on everything. All right. Lines 133 through 145 just talks about the premise and the safety and the liability, as well as waiving us from those liabilities. Attorney fees, it's discussing attorney fees and us not being responsible for that. Lines 148 is talking about the entire agreement. Lines 152 through 155 is talking about any notices required given under this agreement shall be delivered in hand or by mail. Okay. And then if there's anything that needs to be delivered by hand or mail, we're going to put the addresses right here. Okay. So I always recommend do not put your client's information. I put the office information right here. That way, even if there's something that needs to be given, your client is giving you permission to receive that correspondence directly here. But as far as emails, you can also include, if you want to be very specific, you can include the office address and the office email, but you can also include your clients in case there's something that we need to mail them. So it's kind of twofold. I know some people do both, some people just do one, some people just put their information, but this is the listing agreement. Only you're going to see the listing agreement. Only the office is going to see the listing agreement. The other side won't see this, but showing them our information in case they need to mail us something is here. They have a copy of it. And then for us, we also have it on the agreement, their information as well. Property condition is attached. You should not be sending a listing agreement without a PCDS for them to sign, because we cannot list that property without the PCDS, which stands for Property Condition Disclosure Statement. So if you know that it is it's attached, go ahead and click is. And then that concludes. You just need the signature of the listing broker and your signature. And then after you get both signatures, you can send it to your client. Do not have your client sign this before the listing broker, okay? And you cannot upload your listing without having all of this information, all right? So that concludes the listing agreements for Mississippi. Hopefully you guys were able to gather something out of it. If you have any additional questions, make sure you email us here in the office, or you reach out via text or by phone to schedule a time for a one-on-one. All right.